There is one specific reason that I was able to resist buying any fabric while I was in France. And it's this, it's remainders. So yesterday, I was in the middle of a project that you should be seeing here next week when this happened. I just saw on Instagram that Remainders is having a fabric sale. It's stuff a bag for $15, a garbage bag. And the rest of their fabric is buy one, get one free. Do I need to leave the house right now? I'm giving myself 60 more seconds to debate it, but I have been dying for a Remainders trip, and I was like, no, you don't need more fabric right now. Use what you have, but it's a sale. Who am I kidding? I'm gonna go. I have like an hour and a half before they close. I'm out of here, y'all.
2 hours later.
Y'all, I am very glad that I dropped everything I was doing and went to Remainders an hour before they closed because, it was a good sale, y'all. I have been dying for a Remainders trip basically since the day that I got home from France, and that was escalated by the whole you have to find a new place to live stress. I've never really been a therapy shopper. Like, I'm gonna go shopping to like brighten my mood, but then I've never liked shopping until fabric shopping came into my life. And fabric shopping during a massive sale? Yeah, I needed this. It brought me great joy. I look so evil. I have an evil plan to only buy cheap, recycled fabric. Thank God I went close to closing time, because the only thing that stopped me from further fabric shopping was the lovely lady at the cutting table going, "Cutting table closes in 8 minutes." And I was like, ooh, I better get in line. But yeah, I got a lot, quite a lot. And I thought I'd do a whole video sharing about it because it was a grand haul, and I think it might be a record for me. Price-wise. Let's start with the regular fabric, like the stuff that was on bolts. This entire month has apparently been buy one, get one free. So if you get an even number of yards, you're getting half of those yards for free, or you could just say that you're getting all of the fabric for half price. Most of their fabric is $4 a yard. They'll price up if it's something they know is a nicer quality fabric, but I ended up with only $4 a yard fabric anyway. So basically it was all $2 a yard. That's already like, where are you going to find fabric for $2 a yard? And this is what I love. It's thrifted fabric, which I'd prefer for like my entire fabric stash to just be thrifted. There's only a few instances here and there where I need to go out and buy a specific fabric, like when I have to make a specific color of bridesmaid dress for a wedding. That's coming up soon. But it's not used, which like there is absolutely no problem with getting a used bed sheet from Goodwill and making something out of it. Obviously I've done that plenty. My blue and white split side skirt is a thrifted duvet cover from Goodwill. But it's just incredible to me when I go to a regular fabric store and I look at the prices there, even when you look at the prices during a sale at a regular fabric store, and then you go to Remainders and I'm like, but $2 a yard, $2. And it helps that I'm not super picky about fabric. I'm not like all natural fibers kind of person. I don't mind polyester. I'm not usually looking for very specific stuff, with a few exceptions. This was actually something I'd been looking for specifically, and it was there. So yeah, this is really just me once again singing the praises of fabric and crafting thrift stores and begging the world to make more of them. I feel so lucky that I live within close enough range that I could just drop what I was doing and run out to the thrift store and come home with all of this fabric. But like, there are so few of them in America, so few. Open more. Someone, open one. If you're thinking that maybe you should open a fabric or crafting thrift store in your area, do it. Do it for all the people there. Anyway, let's take a closer look at all of the cut fabric that I got. I got some good chunks. Y'all, thank God we never ended up furnishing this living room. I mean, nowadays, thank God for multiple reasons, but mainly thank God because This open floor has been so useful to me over the last 10 months. Rich people houses, they're always like, oh look, this house has a bar, this house has a bowling alley, this house has a movie theater. If I had a rich people house, I'd be like, look upon my empty room. I'm so proud of it. This is where I lay stuff on the floor. Dream house, y'all. Luckily, wherever we move, we will probably still have unfurnished rooms because we're not good at just like going out and buying furniture. Okay, let's see what I got, yeah? So this stuff I don't have to measure out because it was cut for me, so I already know what the measurements are. She wrote it on a piece of paper and I was like, I'll take that with me, please. I also already know that I got all of this for $2 a yard. So this part is really just a show and tell and also a time to catalog. Every time I bring home a chunk of fabric from remainders, I always like write down what the yardage was and generally like what I paid for it because I'm always trying to find out how cheap I got it. But now that I am potentially going to start selling some stuff in the future, because everyone's been begging me to sell those split side skirts and I'm considering it, I've heard the questions, I'm looking into it, just let me move houses first. But because there is potentially pricing in my future, I'm really wanting to keep very close track of the fabric that I bring in, of exactly how much I paid for it, because that's going to affect how much I then charge for something that I make out of it. Is this also just an excuse for me to have a very detailed spreadsheet? I don't need an excuse. I have a spreadsheet for my embroidery floss, y'all. I love a good spreadsheet. So that's what's happening now. All of this fabric is now going to be cataloged in here with the yardage, with the price, all that stuff, so that later on, if I happen to use it for an article of clothing that I end up selling, I'm still not guaranteeing anything, but I'm considering it, I will be able to price accordingly and correctly. Yay, spreadsheets! God, I love organization. All my evil plans involve cheap materials and organized spreadsheets. I would not be a good villain, or I'd be a very organized one. So I got 6 pieces here and I really like all of them, y'all. First up, there is this beautiful, bright yellow, sheer whatever it is. Have I mentioned that I do not know very much at all about fabric? The texture on this looks like leaves that have been imprinted. I adore it. But like, look at that flow. Oh my God. Whew. This is stunning. Also, there's 10 yards of it. She kept unrolling it and going, are you sure you want all of this? Should I cut it? We're up to 8, we're up to 9, we're up to 10. And I was like, yes, I want all of it. If I'm gonna make something out of this gorgeous fabric, it's gonna be the swooshiest, hugest, most dramatic thing you've ever seen. Yay! Then we have this like knit, I don't know. I have no idea what you would call this, but I love it. It's like a blanket. It is so soft. Oh, it feels nice. I have not the slightest idea what I would make with this, but whatever it is, it will be delightfully comfortable. I'm pretty sure I have 4 yards of this, but I'm gonna have to double check. This is my little note from them, and I don't know which of these numbers goes with which fabric, so I have to kind of remember what order she cut them in. I believe I have 3 of this blue stuff. I got a whole bunch of knit yesterday, so I definitely wanted to get a few woven materials specifically for possible future split side skirts or split side pinafores. And I thought this was a lovely color and it's got a nice texture to it. Again, no idea what it is, but yeah, I've got some of it. This one I got specifically because I have been wanting some brown fabric and I struggle with buying brown. Brown just is not my thing, y'all. If I'm going with a plain color, it's usually black. But I enjoy the sort of subtle stripe in this. I like the lighter color. And there is a skirt I have in mind that I wanted some brown fabric for, so this could be great. Ooh, you know what? I think I have 4 yards of this and only 2 yards of this.
Hooray!
That's fine. This one was exciting for me because I've specifically been looking for some stretch velvet. I'm gonna call it velvet. I realize that's probably not what it is. Is this what's called crushed panay? I remember having a dress when I was a kid that was made out of crushed panay. I don't even know how to spell that at this time in my life because it was just a word that I said and never saw. Regardless, I've been looking for this specific thing and I wanted it in a bright, non-boring color. So I walked over to the fabric and saw a giant bolt of this and I was like, yes, please. I have a specific dress in mind for this that I will make at some point. I think I got 6 yards of this. And finally, I'm a sucker for a floral. This is actually a stretchy fabric, but it's fairly light compared to, you know, some knits. And I don't know, I always feel like florals are kind of a risky thing because sometimes they can look a little like grandma-ish. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this one seemed really springy and fun and just beautiful. And yeah, you know, I want a dress. Every time I see anything, I want a dress. That is my go-to for everything, is just, can I make a dress out of it? But wouldn't this be beautiful? I think I have 5 yards of this. This might be only 4. Y'all. Anyway, moving on. So the next thing I got is this bad boy. Oh my God. Do you see the end of that? This is a lot of fabric. So by the time I dropped this on the cutting table, they were like closed. So I didn't want to make her unwrap this entire thing to see what the yardage is. And I was willing to just take the whole thing, clearly, because I did. Usually what they do if you're gonna buy an entire bolt or roll of something is they weigh it and then they give you a price per pound. This is like not a light fabric though. So I was like, do you have to weigh it? Because I feel like that's gonna be more expensive. So the woman in charge, love her, she came by and was like, I'd estimate that this is 20 yards. And I was like, okay, I trust you. I don't know. So she offered me the whole roll for $40, potentially $2 a yard. Shall we find out if it's actually 20 yards? Am I going to regret unrolling the entire thing and then having to roll it all back up? Look, I always regret it in the moment that I'm rolling it back up and doing a terrible job. But ultimately, I want to know. I have to know. So let's find out. It's time. There's a lot of this, y'all. From here to here is 4 yards. Yards. I just got 31 and a half yards of fabric for $40. I mean, that's like $1.50 a yard. Oh my God. Yes! And finally, there's the real reason I went. This was the specialty one-day sale that was ending at 6 o'clock when they closed yesterday. This is the reason I dropped everything and ran out the door. So Remainders has several aisles that are just bins of Remnant fabric, and normally you can stuff a bag and get the bag for $15. And when I say bag, I mean like a grocery bag. I've done it before, I've done it lots. It's a great deal. A few months ago, they started doing buy one, get one free on those bags. So you could then get 2 grocery bags for $15. At that price, I was getting fabric for like 40 to 60 cents a yard. And there are good pieces in there. It just requires the time to dig through, open every piece up, make sure that it's not stained or cut weird or anything, but you can find some really good pieces. And I've already sewn so many things out of fabric remnants from Remainders. The sale yesterday was stuff a 13-gallon trash bag for that same $15. This is a massively good deal regardless. This is an amazing deal. But the question that I have is this 13-gallon trash bag more than 2 grocery bags? Because if so, I may have a record. I think my record so far is 40 cents a yard for fabric remnants from remainders. Am I gonna beat that today? By the time I got there, it was like 5 o'clock and they had clearly been busy all day. So I honestly thought there wouldn't be a lot left. I was not expecting to get great finds out of the remnant bins. And the first one that I pulled out was literally just stacked with these big cuts of knit in like solid colors. Like the soft, lovely kind of knit that I absolutely adore because for me, for my sensoriness, I guess, it's the most pleasant thing to wear. I got a lot of it. And they're not small pieces, they are huge. So I ended up getting 2 bags, of course, because I was finding so much good fabric in the remnant bin. I was like, there's no way I'm getting out of here with just one of these. So 30 bucks for all of this. Now comes the really fun part for me because what can I say? I love a deal. I'm gonna unfold and measure all of these pieces and see if I beat my 40 cents a yard record. I have high hopes. Okay, had to pause to go see a buttload of houses. All good though, I also got to see some absolutely beautiful views. Not from the houses, but just on the way and on the way back. Yo, I was very much reminded of why I frickin' love California. I'm a mountain girl. Put a mountain within my sight and I will be in awe. Is it a little sad that in my consideration of where we're going to move, I keep thinking about the distance from remainders? It is almost certain that we are going to be moving further away from remainders than we currently are, possibly quite far away. And I'm like, no! Look, there's not a lot of places where I consistently drive that only have one location. There will be an Olive Garden wherever we move. There will be a Joann somewhere close by. There won't be a remainders. There will only be the remainders that currently is. It just might turn into more of like a day trip kind of thing. Go into remainders instead of like it was yesterday where I could just drop what I was doing and pop over there. No more popping over there, potentially. I will probably pop over there once or twice more before we leave this house, just for the sake of it. Anyway, back to what we were doing. This is the really fun part, although I am still reeling from the 31 plus yards of snake fabric. Like, that's a treasure, man. So let's start measuring, shall we? Ooh! Ah! My legs are so sore and I have done nothing worthy of making them sore, which is just slightly concerning. Oh God! Like a farmer with his prized pig. Folding all of this up took way longer than measuring it. But y'all, I have some numbers. My favorite part. Total yardage of the remnants. And let me note here that sometimes I do get remnants that are cut very irregularly. That's a tough one to say. I mostly try to get pieces that are whole and clean on the edges, but every once in a while I get some crazy ones, and I didn't check as closely this time because I was in a bit of a hurry. Anyway, when they're irregular, I first of all note that in my notes, but I also round down to the nearest quarter yard. Anyway, 84.5 yards. Would you care for a moment to do the math? Nah, I'll do it for you. That means I got all of this fabric right here in front for 35 cents a yard. A new record! Good times. And just for the funsies of it, I added up all of the fabric, which came to 149 yards. Altogether, I paid $120 for 149 yards of fabric. So even if you do it that way, the whole lot averages out to less than $2 a yard. Y'all, I love remainders. Why do I make these haul videos? First of all, because I get way too excited about the cheapness and I just need to share. But second of all, I am sincerely hoping that it really excites some of you and you either take a trip to California just to support remainders, or you find a crafting thrift store in your area that you maybe didn't know about before, or you open one yourself, because we could always use more. And if it has done none of those things for you, then here's a new task. Tell me what I should make out of all of this. Anyway, that is enough chit chat because it's getting dark and I need to go eat dinner. Do I have storage space for this much new fabric? No, not really, but guess what? We won't be living here much longer. Laughing or crying, you'll never know. Which is why I just went for it and did not think about that whatsoever or care about that. For now, this could sit stacked on the floor in there for all I care. It's just gonna have to get packed in like a month and a half. Everything is fine. I look forward to organizing a new fabric closet of some kind in the near future. Quite honestly, out of all the process of moving, that is probably the only thing that I'm looking forward to. My current fabric closet is looking great. It still looks amazing from the last time that I reorganized it. But the process of organizing fabric into neat, beautiful piles is so enjoyable to me that as long as I have a good place to put all of it, I won't mind doing it again. Anyway, didn't I just say that's enough chatting? I don't listen to myself very well, do I? Leave suggestions of what I should make in the comments. Subscribe if you like seeing cheap-ass fabric hauls. And I will see you next week. I don't like that those look like bugs. First up, there is this beautiful, well that didn't work. I think there is fabric dust in my eye.